Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I just want to welcome you to our strawberry fields. I would like to introduce Miss Valerie Houghton. Valerie Houghton is registered and licensed dietitian with Aramark Higher Education. Her global work experience includes international dietetics practice in the Middle East and Europe, and the scope of her work includes extensive clinical and community-based nutrition practice. Ms. Valerie's current role as a regional health and wellness dietitian includes development and implementation of collaborative and tailored nutrition education programs designed to address health and wellness concerns within the campus community. In her current role, Ms. Valerie has oversight for 13 colleges and universities in the Southern region, and her passion for diabetics spans 30 years of practice. She has also written dozens of health-related articles and serves as knowledge expert within the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. She spends her time away from work participating in outdoor activities like bike riding, hiking, and exploring state parks around the region. So welcome and thank you so much.
Hey, Val, thank you so much for the introduction. I really appreciate that. I am delighted to be with you this morning to our Strawberry Fields Forever Wellness event. Great time to do this in the summertime. We're all enjoying strawberries, and we're going to use some of those today in a couple of our recipes. Again, my name is Valerie Houghton. I'm an Aramark registered dietitian, and I work alongside my other Aramark colleagues in Blazer Dining. In today's presentation, we're going to learn a little bit of agricultural information about strawberries, and we'll also explore strawberries from a nutritional perspective as well. Then we're going to cook 2 delicious recipes using fresh strawberries. But before we get started, I want to thank Bella, Emily, and Rebecca for all the behind the scenes work that you guys do to make these presentations possible. They just don't magically appear. There's a lot of background work involved in that. And thank you very much for organizing the events. I also want to thank Valdosta State University for making this presentation possible today. I know the recipes for the granola yogurt pops and the strawberry yogurt bark with chocolate drizzle have been shared with you. So I hope you will follow along with me and use your creative flair in these recipes. If you've joined us in previous wellness events, you'll know that we disperse quiz questions throughout this. So pay attention, and hopefully you can be one of the 4 winners today by answering the quiz questions correctly. So let's start by exploring some interesting facts about this humble little fruit called the strawberry. Strawberries originated in Europe, and they are a leading small fruit crop in the United States. California is the leading producer of strawberries in the United States. About 90% of the strawberries that we enjoy come from California. To go back historically, the first American species of strawberries was cultivated around 1835. So this is not a new fruit. And the strawberry got its name from the common practice of growing the berries under straw to protect them from frost. I think that is a great description for the name. The strawberry is a member of the rose family, which is why the strawberry plant sometimes smells like a rose. Another little fact about strawberries is that it's the only fruit to carry its seeds on the outside of the fruit. There are about 200 average seeds on each strawberry. And here are some tips about buying strawberries. Select berries that are firm, fragrant, plump, and bright, glossy red. The caps should be bright green and fresh looking and should not be removed until you're ready to eat the fruit. Try to use the strawberries as soon as possible after you buy them, ideally within 2 days. The perfect storage temperature for strawberries is 32 to 36, and refrigerators run around 35 to 40 degrees. So that's a very good environment for them. And the best place within the refrigerator to store them is in the crisper drawer of the refrigerator. and to keep them in the clamshell containers that you buy them in, or if you want to transfer them to an open plastic bag or a paper towel that's slightly dampened, those are also other ways to store strawberries. All right, besides tasting delicious, this vibrant red fruit is packed with essential nutrients like vitamin C and potassium that are associated with collagen formation. And that's the skin we're talking about. And it's also associated with the regulation of blood pressure. Strawberries are also rich in antioxidants, which are substances that can prevent or slow the damage to cells caused by free radicals. If you've been with us in other presentations, you will have heard me talk about free radicals. And free radicals are really unstable molecules that are produced in the body naturally, but we also get them from exposure to environmental exposures, like tobacco is one of those, or smog or pollution. Also, they think are attributable to us having the formation of free radicals in our body. So what free radicals do is that they're very unstable molecules. I think of them as being angry inside the body, and they try to damage the very nice, healthy molecules in your body. And because they're unstable, they're not really formed correctly. They just go around like a little sword, and they, trying to angrily mess up the other molecules in your body. What antioxidants do, which are found in strawberries, they actually make that free radical whole, if you will, make it a happy molecule so that it's not going around damaging other molecules and cells in your body. When you actually damage cells in the body, that lends you you're more liable to have diseases and infections and things like that. So we want all the cells in our body and all the molecules within those to be very happy in doing what they do. So antioxidants play a very placative type role in the body, if you will, making those free radicals whole and disallowing them from causing damage to the body. There is another plant-based chemical found in strawberries called phytonutrients. You will have heard me talk about this in previous sessions as well. Phytonutrients are plant-based nutrients. Phyto actually means plant. So these are plant-based nutrients, which have been associated with heart health benefits. Not only strawberries, but many of the other plant foods that we have cardiovascular benefit. But strawberries have been identified as having cardiovascular health benefits. So that's great. Another good reason to eat strawberries. There's plenty of research being conducted on strawberries and their connection to health. For example, new research in the journal Nutrients links strawberries with improved insulin responses, and 3 new studies from Tufts University suggest strawberries may be associated with slowing the aging of the brain, the cardiovascular system, and the gut microbiome. So we want all of those to remain very healthy throughout our lifetime. And strawberries, it looks like the research right now is helping to prevent the aging processes of those organs and those systems within our body. One area of research that's receiving loads of attention is how strawberries may reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's and dementia. And I believe you will see continuing research in this area. So you can see how powerful this ruby red plant food can be, and it only takes a few of these every day to pack a very powerful, healthy punch. For example, 8 strawberries, which is the recommended daily amount to receive all the health benefits, contain more vitamin C than 1 orange, and strawberries are naturally low in calories. 1 cup has about 45 calories, and 1 cup of strawberries is equivalent to about 8 to 10 strawberries. Strawberries are also fat-free, salt-free, and they make a perfect snack. So let's get started cooking with some of these strawberries and put some of this information to use right now. The first recipe is going to be a yogurt bark with a chocolate drizzle. I've modified the recipe a little bit, but these recipes are ready for your creative flair to come in and alter them lots of different ways. They're very versatile. This recipe it could be part of an elegant dessert or an easy snack to keep and prepare in the freezer. This preparation of this recipe is really is really very easy. I think you'll find that this bark sort of melts in your mouth. It's a mixture of creamy Greek yogurt, honey, slivered almonds, and a sprinkling of mini chocolate chips, or you can choose to melt the drizzle on the bark itself. So let me bring the ingredients over. For this particular recipe, we're going to start off with 2 cups of yogurt, and this is Greek yogurt. This works a little bit better in this recipe because of the creamy texture in it, but you can use any type of yogurt you want. You could use a full-fat yogurt if you want to. This happens to also be flavored with vanilla. I like the flavoring of vanilla and strawberries together, but you could use a plain yogurt if you wanted to. You could also add your own spices to it, like cinnamon would be a great addition to this, and just experiment with it. You could also add extracts like vanilla extract, or maybe a more almond extract or peppermint. So you experiment with this. So we're going to take strawberries and add them to this bark. And what I wanted to do is just really cut these strawberries. I want to show you what I've done with them. So I'm just going to take the strawberry. I'm just going to take the top off, that green section that's supposed to look very green when you buy it. I'm going to simply cut the strawberry in half like that. And then I'm just going to actually slice the strawberry down. And that allows us to get really pretty pieces for the bark to be added into. You don't have to do that, but this is just makes the bark look very pretty. You can also take these, if you're making smaller amounts, is to cut them in half again and place them on the bark. That's actually what I did in this particular recipe because I made a smaller amount. I didn't make a full huge amount, so I wanted the pieces to be much smaller. I just felt like this was easier to handle with the pieces like this. All right, so we're going to just cut pieces like that, a few more. And we're just going to keep them out. They really smell so fresh and so delicious. And you can really smell that rose flavor coming in. I wasn't aware of that. I could sort of smell an aroma. I wasn't quite sure what it was. But now that I know that they come from the rose family, I can definitely understand why I'm smelling that sweet aroma coming out of this. All right, for this recipe, we're going to go back to the yogurt and we're just going to add a little bit of honey to this. This recipe has 2 teaspoons of honey for 2 cups of yogurt. I'm going to add just a little bit less of that. I don't have quite 2 cups here because I wanted to make a little bit smaller amount. And that's actually it for the ingredients for the yogurt. So we're just going to give that a stir. Mix it in really well. You could also use maple syrup in this if you didn't want to use the honey. And I would encourage you to use different types of honey in this. Darker honeys will give this a more robust flavor in it. Lighter honeys, of course, it's going to be a little bit lighter. But I think if you play around with it, you'll find out, or a mix of honeys, what honey has different flavors to it, and you'll find how this mixes very well with this yogurt. The acidic flavors of the yogurt and the sweetness of the honey really make a good combination. All right. This is pretty simple. I said this recipe is really simple. So I've just taken a plate here and I've just put a parchment sheet over it. Here's a trick to remember. Before you spread this out, make sure that whatever you're spreading it on, if you're going to use a baking dish, which is what this says, a baking pan, if you will, that it fits inside your freezer. Because if you don't, then you're going to have to transfer it over, and that's actually going to be a mess. So a lesson learned from me, make sure that whatever you're going to freeze this in, because we're going to place this in the freezer for a couple of hours, it fits into your freezer section. All right, lesson learned. All right, so all we do is line with a rubber spatula, mix all this together, the yogurt and the honey, and pour it on parchment paper. Parchment paper is so great to work with. I'm always concerned when I'm doing these that the product is going to stick to the parchment paper and I won't be able to get it out, but that's never been the case with this. You can actually make this bark as thin or as thick as you want it to be. I'm actually going to keep it about like this. It says about 1/4 of an inch, but you can eyeball it. It doesn't have to be exact. What we want is just to be able to place these strawberries on top of the bark. All right, so from this point, we just start adding strawberries. You use your own creative flair. You could make a design in this if you wanted to. You could use larger pieces like this. I'll just go ahead and put that on there so you can see that, what it looks like. You can place them with the seeds up, the seeds down. You use your own creative flair with this.
Valerie, we have a question. Can I use coconut milk-based yogurt or even almond milk-based?
Yes, I believe you should be able to use any of those. You're going to find a texture difference in those. The coconut one will be very creamy. I think all of those will freeze well. So that's the major component of here. We just want to make sure that it freezes. The higher the fat content in something, the creamier the texture is going to be, and the more it will harden inside the freezer. So if you were to use maybe a skim yogurt or very low fat yogurt, you may find that it doesn't freeze as well, or it's a little bit weepy, I'm going to call it. But certainly those sound delicious alternatives to this. Thank you for that. All right. From this point, it's pretty simple. We're going to add, these are slivered almonds. You could use any kind of nut that you want to. It doesn't have to be almonds. And I just placed them on here. Because we're going to actually end up cutting this into chunks and little pieces. These slivers or smaller pieces work better. If you were to use whole nuts, I think you might find it a little bit difficult to cut it afterwards. Okay, so you get the idea with that. We're just placing the slivered almonds in there. And then I was going to use a chocolate drizzle for this, but then I wanted to show you an alternative that's a little bit easier if you don't have the time to make the chocolate drizzle, or you want to use an alternative. I just bought the little tiny mini chocolate chips and you just sprinkle them on there and just press them down a bit into the product, just so when you cut it, they don't fall off. So we actually want to do that with all of this. Just press the product down a little bit. You'll see it presses very easily right into the yogurt. All right. You could also use another topping on this. Instead of using the chocolate drizzle, you could actually buy a chocolate drizzle if you wanted to that's already made for you. You could drizzle that on top. But you could also use other toppings. If you know in the ice cream, they sell the ice cream, you can see caramel topping, you can see all different kinds of there. You might want to experiment with this, because this is another way to change the flavor profile of this product just by changing the topping of it. And when you're putting the caramel topping on it, let's say it's a salted caramel topping on it, think about, would you like any other spices to go along with that? Maybe a little bit of cinnamon. You could change the entire profile by adding something like crystallized ginger on top of this and embedding it in it. So I think there's loads of ways to do this and be creative with this. So let me show you what the finished product looks like. I've got it behind me, and this, I'm going to take this and we're going to crack it into little bark pieces, I hope. Okay, so here's my finished product that's been in the freezer overnight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on this cutting board right here. And I'm going to break it into pieces. You'll see how it just came just directly off the parchment paper. I'm going to put it here. And you'll want to keep this frozen until you're ready to use it. Otherwise it will melt. So I'm just going to take it and take the knife and just break it up into pieces. And you'll see this is what you end up with. It's really got this very creamy flavor to it. That when the strawberries and the chocolate come together, it is absolutely delicious. You might want to actually add this to something like an angel food cake dessert as a topping. You could do it very cleverly placed on top of that or beside it as an alternative to using ice cream, if you will. So I think there's a lot of alternatives to this dish. I think it's a fun one. It's certainly cool and refreshing as well. And I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to move on to our next recipe. And I know we have a couple of quiz questions that we could probably ask. Bella, did you want to ask the quiz questions?
I was trying to unmute it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there we go. No, sorry about that. I'm just trying to technology. Yes, I am going to paste the questions in our group chat here. And it's whoever can answer them the most questions correctly. Paste and let's try. So this is question number 1.
I see at least one answer in there. That must have been name the 2 nutrients in the strawberries. Actually, I can't see the chat box, so but
Yes, my apologies. So it's name the 2 nutrients in strawberries that are associated with collagen formation and regulation of blood pressure.
Well done.
And that is correct. Vitamin C and potassium.
Okay, you want to do one more?
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second. All right, here is question number 2. And it is, let me paste it. How many strawberries are recommended each day to get the full health benefits of strawberries? Perfect. Thank you, Sharon.
All right, Sharon, great job.
It
That's
is
not
8.
very many if you think about it, 8 strawberries a day is not very many, but lots of powerful nutrients in there. Okay, well, I'll go on to the second recipe. This one is a strawberry granola yogurt pop. Again, another freezer-friendly dish where you can use almost the same ingredients that we had previously, and we're just transitioning them into another recipe. So I like the versatility of being able to buy one ingredient and actually use it in multiple different ways. So this recipe has got strawberries in it, again, more of the Greek flavored yogurt. You could use a whole milk yogurt or the other types of yogurt that you had just mentioned previously, an almond-based yogurt and another plant-based yogurt if you want to. It has maple syrup in it, and then we're using a little bit of granola, and then I'm going to show you a bunch more alternatives to use. I'm using a simple pop mold like this to put the strawberries into, the yogurt into, and then I'm going to show you what I've done to, you can actually fill these bottoms with different kinds of toppings, if you will, that when the pop comes out, it'll be on the top. This particular recipe has the granola, actually what you would consider the bottom of the popsicle. So I'll show you that finished product in just a minute. They're back there defrosting right now, I hope. So this is going to be a little bit loud, but we're simply going to put everything inside of the food processor, puree it, and just pour it directly into the little cups. All right, so Pretty simple. I'm just going to take the yogurt, pop it in here. I've got a little bit of the pureed mixture already in here just because it makes it a little bit easier for demonstrating this. Live. I'm just going to toss in some of the strawberries directly in here. All I've done is take the tops off of them. That's all. I've just cut them a little bit because I have a small food processor here. I'm going to add just a little bit of maple syrup. Again, you choose what sweetener you want, or no sweetener at all. You could actually also use powdered sugar if you wanted to do that. You could use brown sugar in here. You could use, I'm using maple syrup. You can use honey, agave. You can see how you just really, you can sweeten them however you want to do that. All right, this is going to be very loud. So my food processor is very loud. So I'm going to put that, I'm just going to put it on, and I'm going to choose the puree function. Okay, that was definitely loud enough. All right, so what I'm going to do is just put this product directly into the strawberry mold. And this is, if you find that it did not puree everything, you can put it back in and puree it, or you could leave these little chunks in there, which I think are actually quite nice in a popsicle. I like to come across the chunks, but it depends on your preference. So you keep pureeing it until it's completely smooth if you want to, or use it like this. So I'm just going to hopefully prepare this in here without making too much of a mess. Okay, so you get the idea there. But what I wanted to show you was some other ways to make these a little bit more decorative. You could actually use these little sprinkles like this and put those in the bottom. Some other ideas are to use the exact same chocolate chips that we just had and put those in the bottom of this. In this particular recipe, what they called for is to put the granola right on the top. So let's do that to one of them. I just pressed it down a bit, and then I'm just going to pop the top on it like that. And you don't have to use a mold like this. If you wanted to use a small little paper cup, like a Dixie cup, you could use that and pop a popsicle stick inside of it. It'll work just as well. It's easy to tear away the paper around the popsicle after that. If you find that it's a little bit sticky, you might want to spray the inside of it with a little bit of pan release. That will help the popsicle come out. Some other ideas are to use things like coconut. You could add chia seeds to the mixture itself in the blender, or you could pop them in the bottom of the popsicle stick or on the top. I also wanted to experiment a little bit with dried strawberries and see how those would work in this. They're going to be rehydrated with the yogurt. So I put them on the bottom of one of the popsicles here just to see what it would turn out like. So I thought that'd be a clever idea. If you had some leftover dried strawberries, you could use that. You can see there's endless possibilities to use with these yogurt popsicles. You can flavor them lots of different ways, and I think they make them very versatile, either for breakfast and on the go. They could be taken like that, or they travel very well because they're frozen. You could put them in a cooler, take them to the beach, and I think they would do very well. So I want to show you a couple of alterations that I've done with this recipe with the popsicles behind me. Hopefully I can pull them out of the containers right now. So let me move this away and I'll go over that. Okay. All right, so here are the popsicles that I've already made. And let's see if I can get these out. They might be too defrosted by now. Here's one that's coming out. Okay. That one has actually the dried strawberries on the bottom of it. It's a beautiful color. I'm going to lay that one down since that one came out perfectly. Might not. Let's see. I don't know that these are going to come out. I think they've been defrosted a little bit too much, but I wanted to show you that. You can actually see these on the bottom here. Yeah, they're going to be a bit messy if I take them out, so let me do that. But I wanted to show you something else. I found these little reusable plastic bags. And you can actually fill these with the product as well, which is what I've done, and pop them right in the freezer. And that way, if you wanted to transport them and take them, you would have them available really quickly, easy to go. You could do the same thing with these. If you wanted to fill the bottom with these with the sprinkles or pour the sprinkles inside of it just for a little bit of color and flair, you could do that. All right, alternatively, there are other molds out here to use. This one was another one that I just found in the grocery store. This is in the shape of a pineapple. So I'm just going to pop that out. It's an experiment to find with these popsicle forms which one actually works best. You can see the one that I have is not the absolute best, but it was very economical. But anyway, there's another popsicle form in the shape of a pineapple. I thought that one was very cute. You could decorate this one before you put the top on it. It's simply, I'll show you what the form looks like. Simply these two pieces together, the bottom and the top, and the popsicle stick comes out automatically. All right, one more alteration on this I wanted to show you. If you have any ice cube trays at home that you're not using and you have them in cute forms, you could use them like this. This is actually in the shape of little lemons, and I just poured the product directly in here. And I'm going to try to pop them out. Let's see if I can get them out. For this one, I did add, even though it's a rubber coated, I did add a little of the pan spray in here. Okay, I'll show those to you. That's actually what they look like. They're little tiny ones, but it's another way to use the product. If you just wanted to pop those into your yogurt in the morning, your plain yogurt in the morning time, or I think they make a great snack, actually. Little tidbits to use there. Okay, so those are the two recipes that I had to demo today. I'd love to entertain any of your questions. I know we have a few more quiz questions to launch. And give me your ideas on how you would alter these recipes to your own preferences and what your family might like.
Hello. I'm going to do some more of the questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So we'll start with question number 3. Give me 1 second just to copy it over here.
Okay.
All right. So the question is, 1 cup of strawberries has about how many calories?
So that would be about 8 to 10 strawberries. Yay. I see at least one answer from Sharon. Oh, Brittany. Mm-hmm. You guys were absolutely paying attention.
Yep, that's correct.
Well done.
Good job. All right, question number 4. Where are the majority of strawberries grown in the USA?
I have some experienced listeners on this program, I can tell that.
Good job. Yes, it is California. And question number 5, the last question. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Just copy real quick. And all right. Strawberries are packed with what plant-based chemical associated with heart healthy benefits?
I'll give you a hint. The first part of the word it's Greek and actually means plants. That helps. There you go. Well done. Yeah. I won't say the answer yet until everyone finishes. Is that it?
I don't think anybody else is going to reply.
Okay.
But it is phytochemicals.
Phytochemicals or phytonutrients. Well
Yes.
done. Yep. PHYTO means plant. All those phytonutrients come directly from plants. All right. Well done. Thank you very much for participating in that and for paying attention. Does anyone think they might try these or think that one recipe is better over another? What you might do to alter the recipe? Good. So Cindy says she's going to try the bark. I think you'll really enjoy it. How would you change anything with it? Would you put a different drizzle on it, Cindy? Okay. And Sharon says she's going to try the popsicle. This is a very kid-friendly recipe. They would love to be able to make this. It gives them the ability to create it however they like. Coconut yogurt. Oh, wow. That sounds delicious. That's great. Coconuts and strawberries are a great combination. And coconut shavings. Yes. Yeah, I think that would be excellent. Excellent combination. All right.
Valerie, just checking in with you real quick. It looks like we have potentially 4 winners. I didn't know how many prizes you had today.
I have 4.
Okay. So that goes out to, it looks like Gia Lou, Sharon, Brittany, and Cindy.
Great. Congratulations. Thank you for participating in that. Well done. And for paying attention to all of that while we were going through the agricultural part and the nutrient part for the strawberries. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. I hope these are interesting to you and very practical and easy recipes for you to develop. I'd love to know your feedback on them, how you change them. Send photos back to Bella or Emily or Rebecca. Show us what you've done. I'd love to see them. So I hope you'll try the recipes, and I hope that you will enjoy all of the summer foods that we have to offer. There's so many delicious plant foods out here that just summer is such a great time to celebrate and to incorporate all of these recipes into your favorites using everything that's available to us from the gardens in the South that we have. So use them, stay healthy, and I guess until next time.
Thank you so much, Miss Valerie.
You're very welcome, y'all.